Hello there, Grateful Gang. Welcome to Gratefully Living the Chronic Life. It is September 9th, 2021 today. I have an awesome guest tonight. We've just been talking backstage. She's a fellow gratitude addict. Her name is Julie Boyer, and she does a lot of things with gratitude. She has a podcast called Wake Up with Gratitude, but I'll talk about her in a minute. Anyway, she's waiting backstage. You guys are going to absolutely love her. But thank you for being here tonight. If it's your first time tuning in, I come every Thursday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this time, and talk about gratefully living with our lives with gratitude and intention. Basically, a lot of our stuff is geared towards people living with chronic conditions. However, our topics generally go for really anybody that struggles with anything. Usually you can relate to what I talk about. So tonight we're talking about gratitude because I have Julie Boyer from Wake Up with Gratitude on. But we've had experts come on to talk about mindfulness, resilience, things that really help us to get through this life, which inevitably has a lot of struggles. In addition to the broadcast here, I have a group on Facebook that many of you are probably watching from. It is called, let's see if I can get the banner up here. There it is, Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. We are 6,300 strong, and we would love to have you if you are not a member. We are different from other chronic illness groups in that we focus on living in the solution and not staying stuck in the problem. And we do this by way of gratitude and a lot of the things I was just talking about. So if you're not a member, come on over. We would love to have you. I also have a website that you can find out more about the broadcast and the group and all that other good stuff, gratitudeaddict.com. So usually I thank last week's guest, but last week's guest was me. I did a broadcast on bonus ways to find gratitude and put gratitude in your life. So if you didn't catch it, you can catch it on, actually you can catch all the old episodes on gratitudeaddict.com. We also have a YouTube channel. So you want to catch that. And I've had some great guests on. This is episode 58, believe it or not, started right after the pandemic started. Again, if you haven't joined in before, we're an interactive broadcast. So we love to hear your comments and questions. Hello, say where you're watching from. If you're watching live, we do record these episodes as well. So if you're watching the recording, hello to you too. So look, we've got a comment here from, my mouse is acting up. Here we go. Hey, Linda. So if you're watching, make sure you say hello, and you can ask comments, questions of our guests tonight as well. If you're watching, one housekeeping rule, if you're watching from inside Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, make sure you grant StreamYard permission to use your name and photo. Otherwise, you're going to come up on my screen as Facebook user. So what else we got? Let's talk about real quickly about who we've got coming up to the broadcast. We have next week is Holly Bertone of Pink Fortitude. She is hosting a gratitude summit, Gratitude Builds Fortitude Summit, which I'm one of the 30 speakers of. So excited for that. She'll be on with us next week. Oh, there I am. Can you guys see that? Hopefully. My screen just went all weird. I forget which day I'm on. I think I'm on the first day. September 21st is World Gratitude Day, so I'm going to do a bonus episode on that Tuesday night, which I do every year, and we'll have games and giveaway merch and all that other good stuff. So make sure you mark your calendars for Tuesday, September 21st. And then we have some other guests. What did I just do here? Okay. After that, we've got Stephen Seiden is going to be on the following week. I think that's September. It's actually the Thursday of that same week. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Why didn't her thing come up? I'm a klutz. Dr. Fuchsia Sira is going to be on that Thursday, which is the 23rd, September 23rd. She is the world's leading researcher on gratitude and chronic pain. Fascinating stuff. If you've read any studies relating to gratitude, living with chronic pain, chances are she conducted the study. She's fascinating. I'm so honored she's coming on with us. She's also done a lot of studies on chronic pain and procrastination, which is really interesting. And then this one's way far off, but I just met with her this week and I'm super excited about Linda Graham. She's coming on October 28th. She wrote this book called Resilience, as well as another book called Bouncing Back. You guys are going to absolutely love her. I think I'm going to need to have her on for 10 episodes because what she has to share with us is just so topical to what we do. Real quickly, before I bring Julie on, I just wanted to recognize that in 2 days is the 20th anniversary of September 11th, as I'm sure you all know, which is a very somber day, but also a day to recognize the heroes and the 3,000 lives that we lost in our world. Let's see if I can share this. Rob, my husband and I are watching this amazing documentary. It's a 6-parter we're watching on Hulu, but it's Nat Geo. It's called 9/11, One Day in America. And I've watched a couple already. This one is outstanding. It's, of course, brutal, like anything relating to September 11th is. But the stories of resilience and heart are just unbelievable. So I highly, highly recommend that. God bless the people that we lost on that day. Without further ado, let me bring on Julie. She's just a fellow gratitude addict, and it's going to take a lot longer than an hour to talk to her. So let's bring her on. This is Julie Boyer from Wake Up with Gratitude. Hey, Julie.
Hi, Lauren. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so glad you found me. Doesn't it? It feels like we should have known each other for a really long time, but
yes.
I'm just so excited that we're finally meeting. That's how I feel.
Forever. Show your shirt, because I know we're going to forget. Gratitude is my jam. Love it. And you're going to be selling those in your shop, right?
Yes.
I love it. That is a shirt I do not own, and I need that shirt. So Julie does a lot of things. She's kind of like me, where she's got a lot of gratitude balls in the air. I love her because when I talked about, what do you want? What do you need to promote or whatever? She's like, we could talk about this, but she's really just a fellow gratitude addict and likes to spread the message of gratitude. But that being said, of course, we're going to tell you where you can get all her stuff. So wakeupwithgratitude.com is kind of like the single place you can go to find out. She's got an amazing book, which we are giving away today, by the way. Julie is very generously donating a signed copy of her book,
Yay.
30 Days of Gratitude, as well as she does these awesome gratitude, beautiful, actually this one's not for sale, it's a special one, but she does gratitude photography. So these wonderful gratitude greeting cards. So if you would like to win, we'll do the drawing at the end of the episode, but #gratitude. So thank you so much for being with us. I don't even know where to begin because it does feel like we should have known each other forever. My big joke with everybody is I find my guests, I stalk them. And I told Julie, I don't normally listen to podcasts, but maybe about 2 months or so before your surgery, right?
Yeah.
I found hers called Wake Up with Gratitude, and I loved it. I loved the message she had to share. So then I stalked her and we talked, and she joined the group. And Julie, where to begin? How did your journey with gratitude start, first of all?
Yeah, Lauren, first of all, you clearly did not stalk me. You sent me a really beautiful email, and I was so happy to receive it. And what's really amazing is I don't talk about my chronic illness that much, actually. So you didn't even really know that was a connection that we had when you sent the message. So I thought that was really amazing. I was like, wow, this is incredible that this existed. And we can talk about that because I did have a surgery. So I'm in a very different place right now.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Where did my journey start with gratitude?
Because your book is like 2013, and I was in rehab in 2013. So my gratitude practice started like right after this, but you've obviously been doing it a lot longer than I have.
Well, not a lot longer, but I was introduced to the practice way back when The Secret first came out. That was inspiring with Bob Proctor and writing, what you're grateful for in the present tense. And they used to have these things, they were secret gratitude journals. And on one side of the page, you would write what you were grateful for that day. And then on the other side, you would write your secret, what would you want to create in your life, but in the present tense. So I think I filled like 3 of those journals. And like most people, I just stopped doing it, right? It just happens. Life gets in the way. So what happened was I went to an event and I heard Sean Aker speak. Sean Aker wrote the book, The Happiness Advantage, and he was talking about the ways that we can shift our habits in 21 days. So change the way that we feel, change our mindset. And one of the things he recommended was to write in a gratitude journal. But what struck me about what he said is that he wanted us to write 3 things that we were grateful for specific to that day. So more specific gratitude, not just I'm grateful for my husband and my family and my house, really getting specific. And then you don't repeat one day the other. You write different things every day.
Right.
So I started doing that habit. And then I also added the gratitude intention that I'd learned from The Secret. And so that's where it really started was, that's 10 years ago now. And I really barely missed a handful of days, except for the 2 weeks when I was in the hospital many years ago, which is kind of when Wake Up with Gratitude was born. But it's become, that's my cornerstone gratitude practice, I would say, for my life. And obviously I do lots more now.
Well, you do a lot. You do a whole lot with gratitude. So you started doing that practice and then you noticed a shift in your life. Basically.
Yeah, well, almost really quickly. So there was a business goal that had been evading me for many years. I'd actually, left my business for a little while and then come back to it because I was just so frustrated that I couldn't get to this goal. And then when I brought gratitude back into my business, it really changed the way that I was doing things. And this gratitude intention, basically 12 weeks after I'd set a gratitude intention to achieve a really big business goal, it manifested. And like all these little things that I wasn't expecting happened to make it happen. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this gratitude stuff really works. And then shortly after, 12 weeks later, approximately, we then manifested our first family home. So my husband and I had been looking for a home. We lived in an apartment, manifested our first family home. So that's when I really started to teach it more. I started to teach it to my team and my business. I have a business where I'm an intuitive business and health coach. So that's not apart from Wake Up with Gratitude, but that's something else that I do. You said I do a lot of things, and I do. And it's funny when we talk about focusing on one thing and doing that is just not me. Like I do better when I have more things happening. Honestly, I really do. And
I kind of do too, actually.
Yeah. Like I have this passion, right? So I just kept sharing it. So that's where that started. And then I kept doing it. And then tragedy struck. I got pregnant for a second time. I have a daughter. She's 11 in a couple weeks. And I was pregnant for a second time and miscarried at 15 weeks.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And we didn't mention what my chronic illness, I guess, was now is endometriosis. So not a surprise, right?
From what I understand, right?
Yeah. But also having a miscarriage, with like the two are, it's very common, unfortunately. Yeah. So but that night, like after I'd had this really big traumatic experience of this loss, I was able to write in my gratitude journal.
Wow. Yeah. That's big. That's big. Because we all go through those, different dark periods, but we all have dark periods. And, we know we should write in a gratitude journal or express gratitude in some way, but actually being able to do it on that day, that's pretty impressive. Says how far you've come in your practice or at
that time.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, if I am writing in my gratitude journal, what was then the worst day of my life, then I need to share this. And that's where the book was born, was out of this tragedy. So the book really for me was working through my emotions and sharing, this passion I had for gratitude. And that's how the book came together. I wrote the book in a month. We edited it in a month. My sister's English teacher. Yeah, we did it in a month. My sister edited for me. And then the publishing company was going to take 6 weeks. They got it back to me in 2 weeks, like the whole entire thing. And I had set my intention from the beginning that I would have my book launch by the end of May, at the beginning of February. And they thought I was they're like, what? No, it takes longer than that. I was like, yeah, I know. But they're like, so your manuscript's done? I was like, no, I'm just writing it down. But I did, by the end of May, we did the Amazon launch and everything, bestseller, everything happened. And like you said, I thought at the time that was my gratitude journey, but it was the beginning.
Just the beginning, right?
The beginning.
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
when you find something good, many of us, you're obviously one of those people, you want to share it, you want to shout it from the rooftops, like this can work for you as well. I just want to show it again. #gratitude if you'd like to win a copy. If you're not the winner, you can get these on Amazon and on Julie's website. Let me show the website real quick.
Sure. And if you order from my website, you get a signed copy. That's the difference. I just want to say hi to Arlene because she's from the same province as me in Canada. So.
She shared that. She's one of our moderators.
Hi, Arlene.
I'll get to some cut.
Yeah, I guess we didn't say I live on Vancouver Island. So that's what my photos are from. Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing the website.
There we are. wakeupwithgratitude.com. And there's her book. Yay. It's a beautiful, beautiful website. There she is. How cute she is. So make sure you go there. You can find out about the podcast and all that. So let's see who we've got. We had Linda. We've got Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Linda Canalicchio. Happy belated birthday, Linda. Your family's beautiful, by the way, Linda. Saw your pictures on Facebook. Hi, Mary. So hello, Grateful Tears. So glad to be here and excited to learn new strategies and resources on living grateful. Hey, Sarah. A lot of people with #gratitude. Good, get those in. Arlene's here. Denise is here. Hey, Denise. There it is. I don't even Kelowna.
Yeah, Kelowna. It's a ferry ride and about a 5-hour drive from where I am.
Oh, okay. We got that. Hi from Vancouver.
Yay!
There we go. Canada is invading Attitude of Gratitude for Chronic Pain like the past year or so. They're getting a lot of Canadians.
Which is like good and bad, right? It's like, you're in an interesting place where you want your group to grow, but also it's not wonderful to see that many people that are living with chronic pain. And
I know.
It's, it's crazy to me because I've lived with endometriosis. Basically, I was diagnosed without surgery when I was 15 years old, but I was diagnosed and suffered from the age of 15.
How did you know? Were you?
I went to a gynecologist and they were like, we're pretty sure it's endometriosis. We're going to put you on the pill.
Wow.
At age 15.
Yeah. So
I was on the pill from age 15 to 30 nonstop. And I still had pain, which was crazy. Like I was still in pain. I'm in a really interesting time right now, Lauren, because you said at the beginning, I had a surgery. I had a complete hysterectomy. They took everything. It's like a yard sale. Everything goes. I was like, take it. I'm 45 now. I was like, take it all. And I'm in an interesting place right now in my life where I'm looking back and like, wow, like I was really unwell.
Isn't it funny? I've noticed that when I have a decent day, that's when I find out like, wow, I really do have a lot of pain sometimes. It's funny how you don't recognize it. And I talk about that with gratitude too. We need to have those awful days in order to really appreciate the good. If everything was at the status quo every single day, you wouldn't have that same appreciation, right?
Yeah. And I think about all these gratitude habits that I had that got me through all of this and that I was writing in my gratitude journal all the time, like regardless of how sick I was or not, like I didn't miss my gratitude journal. And I'm like in this place of like, I went for my follow-up and the surgeon said, so you're back to your normal activities. And I was like, what are normal activities? Like for the past 2 years, I was so unwell that I was canceling things all the time, like not going. Hiking is a thing that I like to do a lot. Often I'd send my daughter and my husband off without me because I couldn't go. And I just had this moment of like, well, what is normal activity? Like, I don't even know. So it's, I feel like this whole, being able to be grateful, even when we're in pain, and being able to be grateful, even when things are really hard, it's just so important, because if not what, right? Then we go the other way.
Right.
And as you mentioned, like you're having an expert that's coming on that studied like gratitude and chronic pain, like there's this connection. So I hold true.
It's so exciting. I mean, we've known it for years, all of us, pretty much everybody who's watching here too, we know it because we've lived it, but to see science finally backing it up is really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And, I have so many ways now that I just live with gratitude. So I'll just give you a little example.
Yeah, I was going to say, go for it.
Okay. So I moved houses 2.5 months ago, 2 weeks before my surgery. And that was a good thing. Like, we needed to move, but I moved. I know this is going to sound silly to others, but I was a 4-minute drive to the beach to a 10-minute drive to the beach, and I can't quite see the horizon from my house. So there's sometimes when I would be at the other place and I could see the horizon, and I'm like obsessed with the sunrise, and I would see the color and I could get there.
Greeting cards, by the way, guys, if you order her greeting cards, they're all her photos of sunsets. And her Instagram account, right? You have all these photos on your Instagram account as well.
I do.
Beautiful.
So I really like, sometimes so this morning was the first time since I've lived in this new house that I was awake I woke up for sunrise. There's like it was like 99% cloud cover. So I didn't go to the beach. And then I woke up when my alarm went off at 6:30, and I looked outside and I saw the sky colored at my house. So I don't see the horizon. I was like, oh my gosh, the horizon must be beautiful. So I like hop in the car, like half in pajamas, whatever. I take my phone, because that's how I take my photos. And I was like, I know it won't last long enough for me to make it to a beach. So I like found a field nearby, and the sky was gorgeous. And I saw a good part of this. And so other times I might have beat myself up and said, why did you go back to sleep? Why didn't you just get to the beach? Like, why, And so I really turned myself around. Instead of beating myself up about not being there, I said, I'm so grateful that I actually still got to see it. Like, I still got up and I saw it. And I found, a field nearby where I could see the sky. It was so beautiful, and I got to experience it. Was it in the way that I love to experience it and being, no, I got to see the sunrise this morning.
Right.
What a gift. It's silly things like that where our mind like takes us out of the game, that I think where gratitude can really help too.
That's a great tip. It really is, shifting perspective. And you had mentioned before with, that exercise you were told to do about how, we all know when we do a gratitude practice, it's kind of easy to say I'm grateful for my family and all that, and they're all wonderful things. But finding those things like, the way you just shifted that around, or finding something like, I'm so glad that I'm wearing comfortable clothes today. I'm so glad I have clothes. Or, I'm so glad that I got to wave to that friend who drove by the other day, or something like that. These are things that they're not knee-jerk reactions to us, right? We kind of have to dig a little bit for them.
Yeah, the longer we practice gratitude, the easier it becomes to live in a way that is really about looking all the time. What am I grateful for? How do I find gratitude? Listen, I have bad days. I have bad moods, although fewer since the surgery. Interesting. But
so the surgery, the spoiler alert is her surgery did wonders, and she's now in zero pain.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, even post-surgery, I was like, nope, I'm good. Like, this is nothing.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Happy for you.
Me too. And I'm also, like I said, I'm going through this moment of like, of just really like looking back and trying to figure out a lot. Where Wake Up with Gratitude came from is actually from, I got pregnant a third time and had a second miscarriage.
Oh gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And this time, and again, this is part of having endometriosis, is that, it's not easy but I have one child is truly a miracle. So I'm very, 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 very grateful that I have a child. Got pregnant a third time. We were very excited. We were cautious, but we were like, wow, what a gift. Like, this is so great. And again, just at 12 weeks this time, I knew what was happening. I just like knew that what was going on. Went to the hospital, had the same surgical procedure I'd had with the first one, because I knew that I had a miscarriage at home. You don't want that. So them saying, do you want to go home? And I was like, nope, let's just take care of the hospital. So I went home after the surgery, and I was really unwell, and more than I'd been before. And what ended up happening is I ended up getting a very serious, life-threatening bacterial infection.
Oh my gosh. Just what you needed after all that.
Yeah. So I got something called invasive group A strep. And this bacterial infection is usually lethal. By the time people get to the hospital with this, they usually are too far gone to save. So it's either flesh-eating disease or sepsis. I got
Oh my God.
So I was in sepsis. And what's crazy is that I actually brought my gratitude journal to the hospital. Because I knew that I would be admitted to the hospital, and I was so unwell, and I basically begged to be put into a medically induced coma. And so that's what happened. So, put me in a medically induced coma on a ventilator, like all that, so that my body could heal, so they could, take care of me, do the proper course of antibiotics. It was 2 different kinds. And so I was in a medically induced coma for a week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank God you're okay.
Yeah, there ended up being nothing permanent from it at all. What was crazy was when I woke up, I really, that's when I really truly understood what it means to wake up with gratitude. Right. I'd been saying that for a while, just choosing to wake up with gratitude. But that moment, when you wake up after, almost losing your life, it is that true moment of waking up with gratitude. And that, it's this reverence for life, right? It's this so talk about being grateful for the things. I was so weak, because you become extremely weak after that. Your body basically, you just can't, your muscles don't work. So just trying to get a glass, a water in the styrofoam cup to my lips from the table that was right in front of me, I couldn't do it. And if the table was on the side, I had to call for the nurse. But if the button had fallen, I couldn't call the nurse. And then I'm trying to shout for help. It was, so these things that we take so for granted, like taking a shower, just being able to sit up, using the toilet, all these things were taken away from me for a very, not a long time, but enough time that it really reminded me that that's what gratitude is.
Yeah.
Right? It's all those. And when you're in chronic pain, I'm sure many people that are listening and watching right now, they probably get that, right? When they have a really bad day and they can't get out of bed, the day you do get out of bed, the gratitude is there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of loss. It's, it's experiencing grief, loss of lots of abilities that we used to have. And, we tend to romanticize how great things were before, which it maybe wasn't necessarily true, but we do romanticize it. But yeah, we lose abilities, often friends, family. There's a lot of loss. And so, yeah, with me, with my symptoms, sometimes I get tremors once in a while. Haven't recently, thank you, but I do. So I can relate to the styrofoam cup. Swallowing can sometimes be an issue. Bladder control can sometimes be an issue. And I'm not unique. I'm just, saying, my examples. But anybody that lives with any chronic physical and or emotional pain can certainly relate to, taking things for granted like that we used to have that were easy. Sometimes things aren't. Life isn't easy. Life is very difficult. And gratitude certainly helps. So it sounds like you bring your gratitude journal with you as if it's attached to you,
yes.
Velcro. Yeah.
Yeah. When I used to actually travel, remember those times when we traveled places?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, me too. But on the plane, my carry-on, there were 2 things that always went in my carry-on: my gratitude journal and my supplements, because those are the 2 hardest things to replace for me. So those would always come in I was like, no, gratitude journal must be in there, and same with my vitamins. So pretty clear about the priority with my gratitude journal. It's like what you're saying. So I think what's really important, and I'm sure you talk about this a lot, but it's the comparative suffering is my suffering is my suffering and yours is yours. And so just because we're suffering, I don't know, it's not possible to know how hard someone has it. Right. And it's never about my suffering is harder than yours. It's just about an understanding that many of us are suffering, and often silently. I didn't talk about my chronic illness for a really long time because I don't know what it was. It's almost like I didn't want to name it, or I felt embarrassed. I had to do my very first speaking tour. I was so excited. I got invited to a speaking tour. I was like, this is so incredible. I've always wanted to do this. And I was traveling with a gentleman who didn't know what endometriosis was. And I had my cycle while we were traveling. And so I'm carrying a hot pad in my carry-on because I have to plug in the hot pad wherever possible. and I'm taking all these drugs and I'm missing out on dinners because I have to be in the bath. Like I was embarrassed about me, but I still when I was on that stage, I did what I needed to do and I did it to the absolute best of my ability. But I just I was embarrassed to have this and to be admitting about it and to say that I was really suffering because he didn't understand at all.
Right.
So,
and there's something about saying it too. You say it and all of a sudden it makes it real, right? Especially if you call it chronic pain, that's basically you saying, I have this. You don't want to believe that you have something like that. I didn't talk about my pain for a very long time either, which is, what kind of led to my, one of the things that led to a really awful rock bottom for me was keeping it all inside. I didn't realize the importance of community and connection, and verbalizing it, takes away its power. Yeah. Verbalizing our pain takes away its power. We've got a couple comments here. Let's see. Here, thanks for an uplifting discussion. Hey, Mary, congrats on being a new grandma again. From working in third world countries, I realized that even our worst days are a fairy tale existence for people less fortunate. Absolutely. Mary does a lot of beautiful work in India. Arlene says, I understand the waking here I go with the computer. If I knock myself out, I'll be back. Okay. I understand the waking gift to wake and just knowing you get another part of a day. Every day I wake up with gratitude. After the strokes, I knew every moment given to me was a moment to be grateful for. For sure, Arlene.
So, Arlene, why don't I share my morning mantra with you, which is, thank you for this gift of another day and the opportunity to be of service to others and to make a difference in this world.
Beautiful. Do you have that on your website somewhere?
I believe I do.
If not, I will put it in. I'll put it in notes. That's beautiful. Yeah. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah. Thank you for this gift of another day and the opportunity to be of service to others and to make a difference in this world.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You do a lot of service, which is beautiful. And I think doing service enhances gratitude so much. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And I think it's interesting because you mentioned, the whole thing about, promoting and sales and making money and all these things and being of service. I think the two can live in the same house. I think that it's, as an entrepreneur, making money is part of what we do. And I definitely have struggled with that part of this understanding, and that it's okay for me to make money and also be of service. And so I do a lot of doing of service, and I'm working on the being comfortable with making more money as well, because I'm serving people also with the products and the services that I have and making a difference in people's lives that way, even though I've been in business for 15 years. So, but I lead with this understanding that, no matter how I'm connecting with a client, it's I'm looking for how I can best serve that client. So whether it's through, the intuitive health part of what I do, whether it's through the podcast, whether it's through my cards or my book, it's really about how am I best serving that person, and everybody is at a different place in their journey and a different time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you mentioned about getting back to the comparison aspect of chronic pain. That's really the main reason why, our group is unique, in that we don't allow discussion of our illnesses in the group, believe it or not. It sounds ridiculous. We have 2 live chats a week where you can talk about anything you want, but in the group, we want to kind of be all on the same playing field, and it's such human nature to want to compare our conditions to each other. And it can go both ways. You can hear somebody else's condition, say, oh, I really shouldn't be complaining about mine because they have it so much worse. Or reverse and say, oh, I've got it much worse than them. What are they complaining about? But you said it, you were right on the money, that you can't gauge somebody else's suffering. You can't. Somebody that lives with a super painful condition may be having a really great emotional day, and it's not affecting them as much today, whereas you could have stubbed your toe and be in emotional anguish. So, we just knock all that stuff out and just try to get to the whole gratitude aspect of it. Let's talk about your podcast. So Wake Up with Gratitude. So you came out of your coma, and you said the podcast was kind of born out of that.
The name Wake Up with, so here's what's interesting. I came up with a name for my business because it was like julieboya.com, Julie Boya Gratitude Guru, which is still my Facebook page, which I don't love, but they won't let me change it because
you and I were probably fighting over domain names because I have a lot of like gratitudeblanks.com. So I probably searched Gratitude Guru and it was probably taken, which was
maybe, I did look for it. I looked for all these ideas, and then Wake Up with Gratitude came to me. It was actually written on, I had like a list of different sort of affirmations and on my wall for like 2 years. And one of them says, I choose to wake up with gratitude. And so it was staring me in the face for all this time. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's the name that I've been looking for. And so I quickly, can I get the domain? Yes. Okay. Grab the domain. And then the amazing thing is the woman who built my very first website with Wake Up with Gratitude, that logo I'm still using today. So I just really fell on the right logo right from the beginning, which it's like such a gift that I got all these years. But for a long time, it was just a blog. Didn't really know. I had the book, but the book, whatever. I was like, just get it on Amazon, whatever. I didn't keep books in my house or whatever. So I just decided that, I worked with a coach. I worked with actually a money coach of all things. And she said, why don't you have a shop with your Wake Up with Gratitude? Like, why haven't you launched Wake Up with Gratitude? Because it was redirecting back to my old site. And I was like, I don't know. So she challenged me to launch my shop I learned Shopify and with some of my prints and products. And that's sort of so first it started with a website with the prints. And then I got the idea for the cards to go with the book. Because I was like, well, 30 days of gratitude and then 30 days of gratitude cards to do. If you want to do a 30 days of gratitude card challenge, you want to, send cards for 30 days. So I was like, it's a good 30 and 30. And then I also do like, just sample packs of 6 cards for people that 30 seems like a lot and 6 is great.
For those of you in AOG who do Happy Mail, these cards that she sells are beautiful. They say Wake Up with Gratitude on the back.
Yeah, these are just anyway. Yep. They're on the website, but and there's like a set that's got gratitude words inside and a set that's blank. So that was the thing. And then I had this. I was going through a bit of a challenge. It was the 2019, so just at the end of the summer, so 2 years ago. Actually, 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I had this inspiration to do 30 days of self-love. I had seen a painted rock at the beach that said self-love. And I was like, oh, 30 days of self-love. There you go. So what I did is I interviewed people that I knew about what they were doing around self-love. And I did video interview series on my Facebook page, and then saved all the interviews and the Zoom, because it was an audio from Zoom as well. And I said to myself, I'm going to launch a podcast with those audios.
Oh, what a good idea.
So that was all. I did that whole thing. And then in December, I also said, I'm not going to wait till January, because I'm like, everyone waits till January. I'm going to launch it in December. So I launched it in December of 2019. And then I had a bunch of recordings ahead of time, and I kept interviewing people as well. So I was able to release my first 50 episodes in my first 6 months. So 2 a week, which was really good because it really gave the podcast momentum.
Yeah, for sure. You see a lot of podcasts that like they start off with a lot of steam, and then, then you haven't heard from them for, they die off. But you're very consistent with yours. What do you put one out once a week?
Once a week, but sometimes a bonus one. So I did do a bonus one last week just because I was reacting to a current event. And I wanted to make sure that I shared my gratitude for our healthcare workers. So I just posted something, a bonus episode. And I'm actually, thank you for the reminder. I don't know why. I literally need to I think I should actually put this on my calendar before it prints. I gotta do a calendar, but you just reminded me. I'm going to add World Gratitude Day onto my calendar because I forget about it. And I'm going to prepare. All right.
I used to forget about it. And it would come up the night before, because I do these intention posts in the group every morning that say what national days they are, and it would drive me nuts. I'm like, oh, I should have prepared. But for the past several years, September 21st has been ingrained in my head.
I wrote on a sticky.
Good.
Thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome.
And then I always forget. I feel like our Canadian Thanksgiving always kind of creeps up on me, and then it's here it is, because ours is really early. It's
early, right? Yeah,
early October. So I'm like, this year I'm ready. This year I'm going to prepare. So I've got my calendars already ready, and I'm going to do book stuff. So that's kind of where it all came from. In the podcast, I just dropped episode 141. And guess who's going to be a guest on my podcast soon?
Oh,
which way are you? You're this way.
Yeah.
I can't point well. Anyway, you're going to be on my podcast?
Yes. Thank you for asking me. I'm quite honored to be on it. You've had some amazing guests. Do you want to talk about the bonus episode? Interesting. There's some Canadians here. I know you've had some issues in Canada with some.
Yeah, lately. I've chosen to get vaccinated. It's the right decision for me and my family, and I really support our healthcare workers. And I was very upset to see Canadians protesting, even in my local city, which is not a very big city, protesting outside the hospital. I respect the right to protest, and I respect and understand that some people will protest, and that's their absolute right. But just the location was very upsetting, especially for someone who had just recently been to the hospital and had a surgery and was treated so well. And, thankfully I went at a time in the hospital where my surgery didn't have to be delayed, because for me, I was so desperate for the surgery. It had become a semi-urgent procedure. I waited so long to have the surgery because I was scared to go back to the hospital after having almost died, right, from a surgical procedure. Again,
you guys have to wait quite a bit longer, I think, for various things than we do in the US, right?
Yes. So, and when you're in the semi-urgent, the wait is less, because you don't want to be urgent ever. Right. Pandemic or not, being urgent is not a good thing.
No.
Yeah. So that was just really important to me to just share an understanding, and I just wrote a poem about it. I, like many people who are empaths and highly sensitive, I don't enjoy conflict. I don't want to be
in
that situation. So I'm doing my best to respect, and I hadn't said really anything since the beginning of the pandemic. I hadn't said much anything at all, except for the reason it prompted me is I wrote a blog post back in April of 2020 about our tsunami of gratitude. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I mean, people put hearts in their windows and banged the pots. And so that was my comparison, is like, we went from this place in April 2020 where we were in a tsunami of gratitude. And my question was, where is the gratitude now? That's my question.
It's interesting that you say that. Part of the reason why I wanted to share that about that documentary on 9/11 earlier is because, although it was the most horrific, time in our world, certainly in my lifetime, this documentary not only talks about the horrific things that happened, but the heroes, and the way it reminded me 20 years ago of how we all came together. And even though it was a disgusting, horrible time, we really all came together, and I miss that. We need that. So it's interesting. It sounds like that's exactly what your bonus episode was about, is encouraging people to come together. We need to unify. We don't need to be so far apart. It's so sad.
It's a difficult time. It really is. And I struggle with this every day. And I'm always looking for gratitude, right? I'm looking for, how can I find gratitude in this situation? Where is the gratitude? How can I be still a good human being when my views are completely opposite from somebody else? This is a very difficult thing. I'm telling all of you right now, like, I live gratitude. Like, that is, I wake up with gratitude. I do. I think about gratitude all day long now. I do. But I still struggle, when I'm in that situation, is what do I say? And how do I act? Be remembering that this is a human being that I care about, and simply want them to be safe. And so there's so much learning right now, and I love, Seton says, kind people are my kind of people. Yeah, I'm doing my best to be kind and understanding, and also like standing up for what I believe is, and I'm in the majority, thankfully, but standing up to just believe, to say, like, so it's tricky. It's like when I'm imagining you've had this before. It's like, you're in a lane, like I'm in a lane of gratitude. So when is it appropriate for me to step out of my lane and talk about a current event or politics? you know?
Gosh,
So
that is so crazy. I say we have
right?
so much synchronicity. I'm the same as you. I don't like to rock boats. In my group, we don't talk politics. I mean, on the live broadcast, we're much more loosey goosey. But in the group, we no politics, no religion. We're all inclusive. We want everybody to feel welcome and safe and all that. I had a situation just last week, and I don't want to say what the organization was because it's not fair. But it's an organization that I highly respect. I share a lot of articles from them. They posted a study. I'm not even going to say what the study is because I don't want to get anybody upset, but they went political in this study. Let's just put it that way. And I was so hurt. I don't even know how to describe the feeling other than I was so hurt that they used this study, which I would ordinarily share with everybody because it relates to our group. And in the very end, it went political and started trying to compare political parties. And I actually wrote a comment back to them, not mean or anything, just said, you've just made this unshareable for me with my group because now, we're political parties and that's not what we should be about. So it's so interesting that you just did that because I'm not like that at all either. What's the matter, your cat?
Come here. Sorry, the cat has been in here since the beginning of the podcast. Now the dog, there's a crying dog outside my door. Not distracting to you, but so distracting. I don't know, who's a dog lover here when your dog is crying?
Oh, we all are. I didn't hear a thing, actually.
No, you can't hear him. He was so quiet. Here, let me.
Let's get some comments here.
I'll get all the dog lovers in here understanding.
We love our fur babies.
He's so cute. He's a Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever. So
I've never heard of one of those.
He's
everybody loves your cards.
Okay, here. Renessy Mouse. All right, here we go. I'm going to mess up the camera. But, I'm tangled. Never mind.
I like your great sign. Hello, baby. Hello. Adorable. So, how old is he?
He's actually, his birthday is the same as my daughter. So he'll be 4 in a couple weeks. They were born on the same day. She manifested her dog.
Like the same exact day? Crazy.
Like years apart, but literally are both born on the 28th. Oh, good. Okay, so we've got some dog people in the chat. Good. Can you understand that if you hear your dog crying outside, you're just like, I can't.
Oh, yeah, it's just unusual punishment.
What else is
you're getting a hand clap about your bonus episode here.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody, Fran loves your photos. Arlene loves your mantra. I still have the hearts in my window, says Mary. My grandsons made them for me. Very nice. Very nice. I wish we could go back to that. That's a really good point, Julie, that what happened, we were together for a while. We were, and people are my kind of people. I have 2 dogs. So how do you find guests for your podcasts other than people that stalk you?
Yes, that happens a lot. But a lot of them aren't appropriate at all. I get a lot of unsolicited. So I actually started a new thing. I was like, when people come to me unsolicited, I'm like, so it's a $250 deposit on the podcast. And if you don't share it, if you share it, I'll give you your money back. Because that is the hardest thing. Is it's so crazy to me. Is like people come to me and want to be on the podcast and then they don't share it. I was like, I don't understand the point.
Really?
Yeah, it makes no sense. I am literally promoting you, right? It's the weirdest thing. And that's honestly the ways that a podcast grows is when your guest shares it with their audience.
Of course.
Or another thing is when a listener shares or they post a review.
Right.
That's the hardest thing about doing a podcast, I will say. And sometimes I'm like, do I keep doing this? Do I not? But then I do an interview and I was like, this is why I do it. So I have a combination of people that I meet in my own life that come onto the podcast. And then I have other people like you that reach out. And sometimes I say yes. And sometimes I say no, depending on how they pitch me. And that's like, if anybody here who's listening on any platform right now and you want to be on someone's podcast, first of all, listen to the podcast first.
Oh yeah, that
right.
You get people that want to be on your podcast that have never listened to the podcast.
Yes.
Wow.
I was like, well, tell me about an episode you listened to.
I just want to do on my broadcast. I mean, it's great. I can't wait to be on the podcast, but I was excited to have you on the broadcast. So that's I get some people that want to be on the broadcast, but I don't get like what you get for sure.
But now what I'm going to do, Lauren, is I'm going to go watch your previous broadcast and I'm going to talk to those people and get them on my podcast. I was listening to the things you were saying.
You should.
I was like, these people should be on my podcast. And what I love is that I honestly, for me, I love sharing people's stories, and I really do. But I also, what makes me vibrate the highest is when we're talking about gratitude for the majority of the time. So, this book, I know you had Christy, she was on your broadcast, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I love her. Yes.
So I interviewed her when her book first came out, and it was episode 99. And I decided that I'm rebroadcasting it next week because you and I had a conversation. You reminded me about the book. I pulled the book out, started reading it again. And I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
And so I'm rebroadcasting it. And our conversation, like you and I, all around gratitude and all these ways that I was learning from her. So for me, honestly, the ideal guest is someone who lives in this world already.
And she sure does. I mean, I swear I could have taken every sentence that she said and made it into a graphic to use in the group. She's just, she embodies gratitude, and even off camera, off recording, she's just so kind and loving and grateful. And hey, she knows brother David Steindl Rast. So, I mean,
who's still alive. I really like 95. He is, I'm sure your group knows about the video, A Grateful Day.
Oh, yes.
Let's remind them to go to YouTube, search A Grateful Day. That is, so when I'm not able to get to the beach in the morning, I will watch that video because I feel like it's like a sunrise from home. Like it just,
it's perfect. I share it in the group quite a bit. I haven't shared it in a while, actually. And then
you share it all the time.
I think he did a beautiful day and a grateful day. But yeah, he's wonderful. And as is Christy. I will definitely share your podcast with her because she's just lovely. Seton won her book. I didn't remember that, Seton. Great. I'm so grateful for the best gift. Speaking of winning books.
Oh my gosh, look at the time.
We're getting ready to do the drawing. So #gratitude. And you can win Julie Boyer's 30 Days of Gratitude book as well as her beautiful, and it's signed, and then her beautiful greeting cards, which you can also, let me share the website again. wakeupwithgratitude.com. What did I just do? And that is the place, that's the central location where you can find everything about Julie, the podcast, the shop. Here we go.
And can I just say also, Lauren, the work that you're doing, the amount that you serve and give to your community, the way that you're uplifting people, I admire you so much for this heart of gratitude that you bring and this energy. And it's so powerful. We might not think as one person that we're making a difference, but you're making a difference. And I noticed that like the minute, just even from your email, I didn't even know you. And I felt this like beautiful energy.
Who is the stalker?
Yeah, you're not a stalker. No need to use that word. It was a welcome it was welcome in my inbox. And I really appreciate that you do this. And I've learned from you. I appreciate that being a guest on this, I've actually learned, I didn't know all these ways of broadcasting. Like I'm learning from you as well. And I think what's amazing is when you get two people together to talk about gratitude, like we can learn from each other in so many ways, which I'm so grateful for. It sounds cheesy, but I am.
Thank you. The beautiful compliment. And I feel exactly the same way. I mean, I'm always hungry for not only learning more ways to be grateful myself, but then to share it. I'm a gratitude cheerleader, addict and cheerleader. And I love to share it with everybody because we need this in our lives. It's free. It is free. And we can change. I mean, things aren't going to be all sunshine and roses all the time, of course, but we don't have control over a lot in our lives, but we do have control over the way we respond to what happens. And we do have control over our attitude. And you had said it earlier in the beginning of the broadcast that, it takes a practice, but eventually you start to train your brain, and your brain starts to seek out things to be grateful for because we're wired for the negative, right? Yeah. I think I've heard you share that on your podcast. We are wired for the negative. It's the fight or flight mode that we're ingrained with, but we can retrain our brain and make things a lot easier on ourselves. You've been manifesting some amazing things in your life. I mean, you talk about my energy. Your energy is astounding. What do we have here? My heart needed this broadcast today, says Arlene. Thank you, Arlene. So glad you're here, Julie. I'm grateful for each guest. Me too. We too. We luck out, and we do have wonderful, wonderful guests. You should totally look back at some of my past.
Oh, yeah.
I will clue you in on. They've all been amazing. Your beautiful cards are perfect for our happy mail. I agree. We are very blessed. We sure are. We are truly blessed for sure. All right, let's do the drawing. I hate saying that though, because that means you have to leave soon. But gosh, it's been such a pleasure having you on. So this is for Julie's book, 30 Days of Gratitude, and her beautiful greeting cards. Let's get the giveaway tool up here. Okay, can we see this? All right. Good luck, everybody. Who's going to be the big winner today? I love this thing. Unfortunately, sometimes people spell, like if they misspell gratitude accidentally. Sandy was our winner last week too. Well, she was one of 2 winners last week too. Congratulations, Sandy.
Oh, I love her. It says, I'm a gratitude gangster. Oh, cool.
That's our one of our frames for the group. We have photo frames that we give the option of. Congratulations, Sandy. I will get you her address, Julie.
Arlene said she bought the cards already during the broadcast. Arlene.
Oh, that is so Arlene.
I'm so excited.
I would have done the same thing, Arlene.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
It's
amazing.
Sandy's excited. Congratulations, Sandy. Yes, congratulations. Sandy's in the process of writing her own book at the moment. She does beautiful poetry, mainly gratitude related. So hope I didn't just spoil that for you, Sandy. But everybody in the group, she posts stuff in the group, and we're all excited. Julie Boyer, it has been, to say it's been a pleasure is an understatement. You guys can find her all over the place. I'll put links in the broadcast, but if you go to wakeupwithgratitude.com, you can find out about everything that this amazing woman is doing to help the world make a better place. You said a couple minutes ago, you don't think you're making a difference, but there's a quote that I love, and I may get it wrong, but it's something like, it's better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. Like, it's an old Chinese proverb, I believe. And that's so true. It's so true. And you are making a difference in this world, Julie. Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, I receive that with gratitude, and I hope I will be more in the group. I will share more and connect more in the group. Although now I'm not sure if I should be part of the group anymore.
You should.
Right?
We've kind of expanded to beyond people.
Okay, good. I would love to just encourage people and post and just with an understanding of what it looks like to have spent 30 years of my life in that place that I didn't know that I was in. So I'm so great. Just so wonderful. What a great community. Thank you. Can I also say thank you to everyone who contributed to the conversation? That's so much fun.
That's why I love to go live. I love StreamYard because you can make people feel a part of, which I love. Thanks, Julie. Much love to you. Deliver the order to you. We have 5 hours.
It's a boat and drive, but it'll arrive. She'll get her order pretty quickly.
Yeah. Everybody's so thankful, as am I. Julie Boyer, the podcast is Wake Up with Gratitude. The book is 30 Days of Gratitude. Thank you for being with us, Julie. I hope to have you on again sometime soon so we can chat some more.
I would love that. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Bye, gang. I will see you next week. We'll have Holly Bertone from the Gratitude Summit that I'm going to be on. I'll send more information when that comes up. And let's see if I can remember to do our closing today. I have a closing, and I always forget to do it. All right, so we'll see you next Thursday at 8 p.m., gang. Thank you, Julie, and thanks, everybody, for being here. Bye. Peace and... That's my opener. Bye, gang. Talk about authentic, right? Bye, gang. Love you guys.